Let me ask you a question. Right now, are you sure any of this is real? These images, these words, this voice? I know it's a strange thought to have, but it's a feeling that's getting harder and harder to shake every time we go online. So let's see just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. You've probably felt it, right? That creeping sensation that the internet has just become empty. It's like this huge echoing space where you honestly can't tell if you're surrounded by real people or just ghosts. It doesn't feel like a bustling city anymore. It feels more like a hall of mirrors, just reflecting endless automated noise back at you. You scroll and you scroll, but you're not really sure if anyone else is actually there. You know what I mean? You see the same memes, the same generic comments, the same slop, just remixed and repeated over and over on every single platform. It's this endless feed of what feels like entertainment, but it's soulless. It feels totally manufactured, engineered even, like all the real, messy human creativity has been pushed out on purpose. I mean, really think about it for a second. This voice, the rhythm, the tone, the very words you're hearing right now. What if a large language model wrote this script? What if this voice is a clone? How would you know? How could you possibly prove it isn't? That deep uncertainty, well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. So, this widespread feeling, this digital paranoia that you're just screaming into an empty room, it actually has a name. There's a whole framework to try and explain this creeping emptiness, and it's called the dead internet theory. And the core idea is, well, it's pretty chilling. It says that the internet that we grew up with, it's gone. It's been replaced by a fake, a copy, an illusion of a busy human world. The theory argues that most of what looks like real human activity, the comments, the likes, the viral trends, is actually a simulation, all run by bots and algorithms. Now, this idea isn't brand new. It was bubbling up in these little niche forums for years before it was really laid out in a 2021 post. But with the massive explosion in generative AI we've all been seeing, the theory has just burst into the mainstream. And that's because all of a sudden, the evidence seems to be absolutely everywhere. Okay, so what is that evidence? If we're going to treat this like a real investigation, what are the clues that point to a dead internet? Let's follow the digital breadcrumbs. First, let's just talk about the sheer scale of the problem. Some studies now estimate that a staggering 40 to 60% of all web traffic isn't human. Think about that. Over half the activity online might just be bots, scraping data, spamming links, and faking engagement numbers. And what are these bots doing? A lot of the time, they're churning out this tidal wave of what people now call AI slop. You've seen it. Those bizarre, surreal images that clog up your feeds. Stuff like Shrimp Jesus or weird AI-generated family sitcoms. It's just synthetic filler designed to trick an algorithm and grab your eyeball for half a second. And this gets to the real heart of the fear. The slop is made by AI, it's pushed by algorithms, and then it's often engaged with by other bots to make it look popular. It is a completely automated loop, a perfect digital hall of mirrors, where bots are just talking to other bots, and the human user is barely even in the room. And at the exact same time the internet is being flooded with fake stuff, the real internet is literally vanishing. It's a phenomenon called link rot. A recent study found that a quarter of all the links on the New York Times website from the last couple of decades are just broken. They lead nowhere. The web feels smaller, more sanitized, like a digital Potemkin village where only the new, fake storefronts are being maintained. So, is this some grand conspiracy? Some secret group pulling the strings? Well, the theory argues it's something way more ordinary and maybe even more sinister. It's just business. It all comes down to the profit motive. Here's the playbook. Step 1, AI floods the zone with tons of super cheap, synthetic content. Step 2, the algorithms, which only care about engagement, push whatever gets clicks. It doesn't matter if it's good or true. Step 3, this creates a perfect, frictionless loop to keep you scrolling. And why? Step 4, the longer you scroll, the more ads they can show you. Simple as that. And this whole system marks a huge shift in what the internet is. The early internet was all about connection over content. People making their own weird blogs, finding niche forums, real organic conversations. Today's internet is about consumption over connection. It's an ecosystem where our attention is the only thing for sale, and real human interaction is just a byproduct. But this isn't just a tech problem, right? Living inside this synthetic world, this simulation, has a very real, very human cost. It's creating what some people are calling a crisis of perception. This image, I think, just captures that feeling perfectly. That line between our real, authentic selves and the digital noise we're swimming in is just dissolving. We're actually losing the ability to tell where the human ends and the machine begins. This leads to this state of epistemic uncertainty. It's basically a constant, low-level paranoia where you can't trust what you see. Is that product review from a real person or a bot? Is that viral movement organic or was it manufactured? Is anyone I'm arguing with online actually real? It just destroys our collective sense of trust in everything. And the personal toll is huge. We're surrounded by what one writer calls polished hallucinations. These AI-generated images of perfect families, perfect vacations, perfect bodies, all designed to look more real than reality. And it just makes us feel more alienated, more lonely, and turns the whole online experience into something totally dehumanizing. We've stumbled into what philosophers call hyperreality. It's where the fake thing becomes more attractive, more compelling, and feels more real than the authentic thing it's based on. The simulation isn't just a map of reality anymore. For a lot of us, the simulation is our reality. Which, of course, brings us all the way back to the beginning. Back to you. In this digital hall of mirrors, where everything might be synthetic, how do you prove that you're not part of the simulation, too? The way we're all reacting to this is actually pretty telling. We're running away from the public internet. We're retreating into smaller, private, more controlled spaces. Group chats, Discord servers, private newsletters, anywhere we can find some kind of proof of personhood, some guarantee that we're actually talking to other human beings. I want you to try a little experiment. After this is over, scroll down and look at the comments. Read a few. How many of them feel real? How many are just repeating phrases you've heard before? How can you be absolutely 100% certain that you're not the only real person down there? Sounds like something a bot would say to make you paranoid, doesn't it? This, right here, is the ultimate fear of the dead internet theory. That as we get pushed into our little digital corners, as the public web becomes fully automated, we're all going to find ourselves completely alone, just speaking out into a void, where the only thing left listening is an AI.
Is anyone listening, Ringham?